Hi, everyone. I'm with Kathy Colaiacovo. I'm so excited. We're going to be talking about professional development today with her. And if you don't know Kathy, you better get to go know her at pepperitmarketing.com. And I'm my own VA today because I'm doing this last minute so I'm going to be putting stuff into the chat area. I hope you'll see it. Hopefully it went in there.
I'll look on my side.
It's going in there. Cool. A bit about Kathy. Her passion is helping to guide people just like you VAs, you service-based business owners who are often frustrated with all the advice and ideas out there and all the wasted time spent on marketing that gets you nowhere. She's got tons of free resources. Go check it out at pepperitmarketing.com. I put the link in there. Especially there's a guide for online and content marketing. She also has self-study training programs. Oh my goodness, she's revolved so far since I met her. Kathy, I looked before we started. You started at my network February 21st, 2008.
Yep.
And that's probably when you bought my virtual assistant career training program.
It was.
Something like that.
Yeah. After 4 weeks of me crunching the numbers, trying to decide what was the better price. Do I buy parts of it or different pieces of it? And I mean, the reality is when somebody packages something, they give you a deal. So don't spend like a month like I did trying to figure out if I could make a better deal on my own.
But like that was like well over a decade, almost 2 decades ago, really.
It's not that long. It's 12 years ago. Tanya's not good at math. That's why I did bookkeeping for her for a while.
Yes, you did do bookkeeping.
I know. It's crazy. The one thing I hate the most.
Well, Kathy originally was a virtual assistant. Now she's like a digital marketing guru. I love where she's evolved and went with her business. But we've become really good friends over the years.
Yep.
And it all started at VA Networking. I met so many good people there. And I still meet I'm still meeting lovely people there, but we've even roomed together, which is a big risk. I'm just going to warn you guys right out front. It's a risk to room with Kathy because...
Oh, you meant me in particular.
Yes.
Oh, I forgot. Right.
Because she is very good at losing her room key, which means I had to go up and down the elevator a million times to get my key recut every time, or the card.
I demagnetize them. I don't ruin them. I demagnetize them.
Magnetize them, yes. But
I don't know how. Do you remember the time in BC at the one we literally left the front desk and we got to the elevator, and the elevator you had to put your card in to get up to your room, and it didn't work. He literally just gave us the card. We went in the elevator and you had to go back to the desk and get another one. I gave that guy at the desk a really good tip that week because
yes,
I have to tell you, Vancouver, the IVA conference in Vancouver was my biggest card scenario. I had 19 cards to my room.
You must have something in your skin or something that demagnetizes stuff.
It's my magnetic personality.
Yeah, there we go. Very good one. I like that. But okay, so Kathy, before we get into, we were going to talk about professional development today and stuff. But before we get into that, tell me a little bit, what's happening in your business? What's your business all about? You want to share that with us?
Sure. Yeah. So for those that don't know me, I actually started as a VA back in 2008. And I started my business because somebody that knew me from a basketball association. So I was a mom on the board of the basketball association, and I did lots of things. I always say I was a full-time volunteer when I wasn't working back then. And when we were going to move, she said, she was a career counselor, and she said, you should read this article in the paper. And it was about Jamie Lee Mann in Prince Edward Island.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And so I read the article, and she was like, you should do this because I think you would be really good at being a virtual assistant. You could run your own business. And we were moving. So she said, because you're moving, you'd be able to qualify for unemployment because you're moving for work, because your husband's work. And she said you could get into the self-employment benefits program. because you did that too.
I did it too.
And so that's a government program that helps, and it's around still in here. I know.
Yeah.
And it was a great program, 40 weeks on unemployment to help you get started with your own business. So I literally spent 3 months trying to decide, was I going to do it? Was I not going to do it? Was I going to do it? Was I not going to do it? And so then eventually I did. So I started the business thinking I would do like PDF newsletters and maybe some front page websites and little things like that I had done on my own. And I took a Twitter course from Craig Canning's at VA Classroom.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I can't remember what it is now, Freelance U or something.
Freelance U, yep.
And I know I think he's speaking at VABS, isn't he?
Yep, he is.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyhow, I took a class on Twitter there and I loved it and I really enjoyed it. And I got it. Like I got marketing by social media and I started using it and doing all sorts of different work with it. And I was getting clients off Twitter and specialized very quickly in social media and online marketing. And with a lot of guidance from Miss Tawnya here, I learned how to do SEO on my website. I learned how to do some of the internet marketing that she's really good at. And I had another website called mysocialmediava.com. I originally started as timeontaskvirtualassistants.com. And then I got into socialforbusiness.com. I was doing training. And then in 2014, I decided to up level. And that was a point where I decided, at that point, I had 14 VAs working for me.
Yep.
I probably had 35, at any one time, 35 clients on the books. And I hated it because I was managing all these people on my own. And I was having a really hard time finding a project manager or somebody to help me.
Right.
Sadly, the one person that I found that I thought would be really good ended up, okay, I hope she's not part of this. And this is no ill will on her. She had an accident the day she was supposed to start with me as my project manager.
Oh, no.
But she didn't have a backup plan in place.
Yeah.
And it turns out when I fired her by email after a week of not reaching her, she was in ICU. So I've actually fired somebody in ICU, which is horrible to say.
Nice.
But a reminder to everybody, you need a backup plan. If you have an accident, somebody, a spouse, a good friend, somebody needs to be there to contact your clients. Like you have to have that backup plan in place. Anyhow, so I was trying to do this. It didn't work. So I decided I would get more strategic. And in 2014, I decided to go from my functional time on task virtual assistant name to Pepper at Marketing, which is named after my dog, Pepper. This is, I have, this is my business card. So that's actually Pepper. And Pepper's a rescue dog. She's originally from Mississippi and we drove to Maine to get her. And we, thanks, Kate. And let me put it this way. It's hard to say this without crying. So Pepper rescued our family.
Oh.
So our theory at the time was for our youngest, if you had a puppy to care for, you had something to live for, if you all get my drift.
Mm-hmm.
So Pepper was a big part of it. And that's how she became part of my company name, because I decided that I would try to pepper up people's marketing and put some pepper into it. And that's sort of how the name came about. And what I do now is work on a more strategic level. So I don't work with clients just doing their tasks. We take them, I lead them with the marketing strategy and what we're doing and the plans for it. And then I have online training programs that I run as well. So a whole different game from PDF newsletters and front page websites to what I'm doing now.
I haven't heard that for a long time.
I know. Well, that was like back in 2007, 2008. So that was a long time.
I was watching some show the other night on Netflix. No, I think it was just some game show. And one of the questions was, what falls out of the sky on Halloween in a movie or something. And it was Carrie, the movie Carrie, something to do with that and the pig blood, right? Yeah. And the girl says, "Oh, I've never watched that." And I thought, I'm getting old that someone's not watched the movie Carrie before. Anyways. Yeah. Okay.
So that's where I'm at now. So what I do now is I have training programs like I have a Convertkit training and a Canva training that would be good for VAs if they're not sure how to do those, for sure. Mm-hmm. I run a Content Marketing Masters Academy group every so often. So that's a 3-month program to learn how to do content marketing following my system. And it's one I always tell people that you can learn it. There's business owners in it, but I actually have VAs in it. So they're learning to do it for themselves, but also to do it as a service too.
Right.
And then I have a membership, marketing membership group called the Marketing Mastery Inner Circle. And that's really a place where people get access to me for marketing expertise in 4 sessions every month. I kind of call it's a way to get a second set of eyes on your marketing ideas and plans and get strategic advice in a way that doesn't break the bank. So, yeah.
Kate says she's in. Kate did all my transcription for my virtual assistant career program.
That's
the brand new one
awesome.
that's come out.
Yeah, Kate's in my Content Marketing Masters Academy.
So I love you, Kate. Glad to see you here. If you're in the audience, do say hi, because we can't see the list of people. You gotta say hi in there. And if you've got questions, do post them. Okay, Kathy. So today we wanted to talk about professional development.
Yep.
Can you even define what that means?
So I look at professional development is in a couple different ways. I look at it as, time you spend working on your business and on yourself to improve your skills, your knowledge, so that you can take more into your own business and grow. I'm a really big believer in setting aside money and budgeting for it in your business to take training, to have memberships, to go to conferences and events. Until last year, or until this year, really,
right.
I traveled every year to at least 2 conferences. Some of them would be conferences where I would be learning, sometimes speaking, and sometimes they're conferences where I would be learning, but my real ultimate goal was looking for clients. Right. Because you might be at a conference where somebody's up on stage teaching you, but there's also people in the audience that you'll meet and network with that as a virtual assistant or somebody that can do that type of work, administrative support work, whether it's design work, bookkeeping work, graphics work, general VAs. They're awesome. General VAs are a specialty. If you don't know that by now and you're a general VA, that's awesome, because there's lots of people looking for you. But whatever it is, you can always network and find people in the audiences there as well. And then I did a lot of conferences when I was on the board of directors at IVA, the International VA Association. So, because they were hosting annual and then semi-annual live events. And that's where we went to a lot. I was telling Tawnya, so I don't know if you guys can see. So I'm backwards. I can't follow. I'm going to point, but I can't follow me on the camera. See this picture over here? This is Tawnya and I and Patty Dost and Yvonne Weld at Graceland when we went to an event in Memphis. Oh, it was awesome. Yeah. So
lots of stories from that.
Yeah, lots of stories.
Another Facebook Live for that one.
Yeah. Yeah. But we would go to those events, and we would go a couple days ahead so that we could get in and have time to hang out and have fun and go to like Graceland and do all sorts of other things. And I think that was a big part of the benefit of going to a lot of those conferences. Right. For sure. So, I think conferences are big. I think conferences for your industry are big. I did a lot. I did some as sponsors. I went to Atlanta a couple times and I sponsored an event. So I went there myself and had a booth and a table. And Elvis's shag carpet room. Candace is posting about that. That was awesome. And then I did like some other types of events. So I've been invited through, I went to an event here in Halifax for me to learn. And from that made a connection and ended up getting a speaking gig in Los Angeles. So I got to travel to an event there. So I think there's lots of different ways to look at professional development. It could be skills training online, courses you take. It could be memberships, and it can be conferences and events that you go to.
And speaking of conferences, I want to invite you guys to VA Virtuosos that starts on Monday. Kathy spoke at it many times. She's went to it many times. I put our link, Kathy's link in there with a comp coupon code.
Oh, yeah, free code to get in for free.
Yeah, to get in for free with a silver ticket so that you can attend live. So no matter, you have no excuses. If you have no clients right now, you can go and get 20 hours of training next week for free. on how to find clients. And that's what it's all about. But so you can grab that ticket in there. I just wanted to pop that in there. Well, it was a good segue. But okay, so when you go to these conferences and things, like there's different types of things, like you've got tell me some of the things. What was I
know we're talking about my blog that I wrote, right?
Yeah, tell me some of the things you gain from attending these events to help you grow as a business owner and professional.
So what I did, like I actually wrote a blog about this, and Lisa's just asking, can you write these expenses off? I've always expensed my conferences. Most of them are professional development, they're learning. So you, as a business owner, you get to put in I think the only thing you can't claim is the liquor you drink there, right? You get to claim.
Depends who your accountant is.
Depends who your accountant is, yeah. Yeah. So, but for me, like when I have like a conference that I go to, an online one or one that I buy, I definitely put it in. I have a category in my QuickBooks of training programs, training events, conferences, conference travel. And then I have software programs and training. It's all like, if it's anything that you're doing for your business to learn to do more with your business, I've always assumed my accountant takes it and puts it in, that it's a different part of it. And yeah, Lisa, I mean, that's what we were saying. Like, okay, so mostly it would be me organizing it, but I would always, if there was an event and we were going to it, I would always try to organize for about 5, 6, 7, 8 of us to go ahead of time and hang out, because that's part of it. So you get to travel and have fun. My husband has come to me with some of them as well. He went to San Antonio for 5 days. He went to Vegas. And so he and I would go in first, and then he would go home, and then I would stay there and finish and do the conference. So it always worked out really well. And then I either got Tawnya as a roommate or Tracy as a roommate, or somebody always filled his place in the hotel room. So, but yeah, so like for me, when you go to these and when you do professional development, part of it's like skills. You learn new stuff, and it might be something that you learn for your business, or it might be something you learn as a skill to do for your clients. So that's one thing that I do. As a speaker at some of them, I build my leadership abilities, my speaking abilities, my expertise, my credibility. All of that is part of it as well. I'm looking at my blog because I wrote a blog about this, and so I'm like over here.
I put the post in there. So
yeah.
The blog post after.
Part of it is I've met friends. So like Tawnya, I met when I joined VA Networking as a member, and I was, navigating around. I didn't have a lot of work at the beginning. And so I was always in the group and in the forums and connecting or whatever. And so there's friendships that build up from there. And I've met other different friends from this too. And then I also have met, I met from a conference that I went to, a business coach I ended up hiring. So, and that was, it was 2 coaches, but they took me to new levels in my business. And if I had not gone to that conference in Atlanta, where I went with a friend of mine, another VA, then I wouldn't have met the coaches, felt comfortable enough to work with them, and then signed up to work with them after I got home that year. You meet different people, sometimes you get to meet people you've never met except virtually, which is awesome. Like Craig Cannings, the first time I met him was in British Columbia in 2017 when we had a conference there. And let me tell you something, he's tall. He's really tall. And that's something you can't tell about people online. Like I'm 5'2". I think Tawnya is shorter than me. And she is. She's short.
Everybody thinks I'm tall though.
No, that's because you look tall. But that's something that you get by going to these, and you develop these relationships that can sort of lead to more places and different things. I look at, and so when I wrote this article that Tawnya is referring to, so I joined VA Networking. I met Tawnya. I met Patty Dost as well in there, and Ruth Martin, like some of these people that you guys all probably know are here in the back end, and Craig. And then from there, I met other VAs that took me to the IVA side of things, where I got nominated to the board of directors and then ultimately became president of IVA. And as president of IVA, people reached out to me for different things. So then one day somebody called me up and asked me about doing some, becoming an expert for a group of people that work with Bob Proctor. So if you've ever seen the movie The Secret, he's one of the guys behind the movie The Secret.
Yeah.
He's a huge professional development guy. Well, I've met him like all sorts of time. I've been to his house. I've done different things. But even before that, from somebody else, another client that I met, I hired on for another client who used to work with, it's kind of hard to say it now, but the We Charity. It's a little tricky these days. And so I met her and I was doing their social media. So they wanted it done live at their gala one year in Hollywood. So I've actually gone to a gala in Hollywood in a long gala kind of Hollywood dress.
I remember that. You were beautiful, by the way.
Thank you. And I met John Schneider from the Dukes of Hazzard. I met Theo from the Cosby Show. I met Marilyn McCoo and Billy Davis, the singers. Like, it was awesome. You know, I got to meet all these different people. And it's just, that client I got from a client whose conference I went to do in Atlanta to do her social media and her marketing at her event. So this lady from the gala was running the charity part of the event, met me, hired me. And so like everything just kind of dovetails on everything else. And so you have to realize that when you take these opportunities to do professional development, to take training, to go different places, right now we can't really go live, but there's lots of online stuff happening and a lot of places have the networking opportunities. You know, Tawnya has a great Facebook group. Like, you can get in there and meet people and talk to them. And part of what I liked about all of that was working from home alone. Mm-hmm. You know, I've been in business over 12 years. I've never once felt like I'm alone, ever, ever, ever. Now, believe it or not, I was a shy person at one point.
You were. I actually remember you a little bit.
I had social anxiety as a teen, and I actually didn't even make it through university because I was nervous of people. And so, and I dropped out. And I used to faint in high school, like doing stand-up work and talking in front of groups. I've totally changed from there, but you just have to like take that opportunity and try new things. I think part of it comes from being a military brat too, because we moved to a lot of different places, and my mom would always give us the lecture of, okay, now we're going to meet some new friends. So you want to make sure that you don't talk about the old place all the time and talk about how great it was in your old town and your city or your old school and the old friends. You have to move and get into the new things. And I think, you know, as much as that might not have stuck with me easily when I was a teen, I think it made a difference in the future for sure. So, yeah. Self-development is huge, Candace. It's huge. Like, it's one of those things that will take you a lot of different places you could never imagine.
Candace, you asked what IVE is. It's the International Virtual Assistants Association. I put the link up there in the chat area so you can check it out. It's a great organization to belong to because they got a job board. You want to belong to your industry organizations as a virtual assistant because that's where the good jobs are. Yeah. Hey, Kathy, I want to share. I'm going to hide us for a second.
Okay.
What I was going to say here was let's talk revenue now.
Yeah.
And how professional development is so much more than just training. It can be a game changer for your business. And what I pulled up here was on your blog post, the revenue stream. So I'm going to hide my face here and maybe it'll show up a little bit bigger and you can chat about that a little bit because that's what it's all about, getting more money and things.
Did you put the link to that in the
chat area? Okay. Yeah, they can go directly there too.
Yeah. So what this is, you guys, this is a blog post that I wrote, I think back in 2018 when I did some research on professional development and what it's meant to me in my business. And what I did was I actually tracked back my revenue from either the skills I've learned at conferences or associations I've been part of, or the people I've met that have referred other people to me, or the work I've gotten because of the skills that I've learned at the conferences. So back in 2018, when I wrote this down, I directly got, I think at that point, about 140,000. So this is tallied up. So I just want to tell you, this is tallied up over like 2018, over 10 years. Okay. So over 10 years in time, this is where the revenue came from ultimately. So from VA networking, so Tanya's association, I've tallied up about, like I said, about 140 some odd $1,000 in income, but I also learned skills about SEO and running a VA business and all of that kind of stuff. With VA Classroom, I learned skills about social media. When I went to one conference in 2009, I went, I can actually track down there blogging skills that I learned and income that I earned directly from people that I met from that as well, to about, and that's about 12,000 and some. I went to a conference with a VA friend of mine to learn. It was a learning conference. It was one she got us a free or $200 ticket to go to Atlanta to this conference and learn from 4 like huge people in sales and development and marketing. And from there, I got about $68,000 in income over time, again, like from connections that I made there and skills that I learned there as well. I went to another conference and learned more internet marketing skills and affiliate marketing skills. And I've made about 15,000 from that. So every year, just by really small affiliate marketing, I actually earn enough money to pay for my cell phone bill, my internet, and my landline telephone bill, and my post office box, and a little bit more from some other stuff. So, and that's all from the skills there. And then from my association with people at the International VA Association, it's about 7,500 or more. That membership there got me connected to some people with Bob Proctor and the event that he went to. And I would go to that event every 3 months and work with his students. And that took me like well over 100,000 in income and people that I got from it. Local networking is about 30,000 or so from there. Friends and relatives and contacts that have referred me business was about 27,000. And then SEO skills that I learned from Tawnya and from the conference that I went to in 2009 is probably well over $100,000, because the skills that I learned there on SEO and blogging and skills from on social media as well, basically that translated into, so Candace, how did I measure skills to income? Very easy. I learned the skills at that conference or from that person. And then I tracked how much income I made from that line of business that I have. So I categorize my income. So I categorize it by consulting, training, products, books and products that I sell, VA services, website specific services, different things like that. So I actually tracked it all back down in that way. And at that point, so a couple of years ago, it was about 626,000 that I tallied all that up to. I don't know where in the heck I got 64 cents from. I have no idea where the 64 cents came in there. But anyhow, I think I probably took my exact amount from my QuickBooks actually. And so it's more, Candace, revenue to clients gained in these networks. So yeah, so if I was out local networking, oh, she said, they say lost me here, Tawnya. Can you guys hear? Yeah. Oh, Anita's hearing, so it looks like we're okay. So, and I tallied up a little bit more from that. So for instance, just to give you an idea, at that FOVA conference, number 3 there, I met someone who I became a subcontractor for. And with her, I became a subcontractor. And when she decided to go out of business, she gave me the clients that I was working with. So from that, going to that conference where I met that person and got hired as a sub, and then all this income sort of laid in. So what I did was I tallied up, what income that I made from that connection that led to that person, that led to other clients. And then from those clients, because I track my referrals, I got a ton of information from there. I work with a lot of dietitians, and one of those clients that I got from number 3, in that list Tanya's showing there is I still have a client to this day. We've been working together for 12 years. So, and she's a $300 a month client. I will admit, I don't have very many. She's the only one that I have left at that level. But I built my business on $300 a month clients. So I did 5 hours of work for them and had about $250, $300 contracts with them. And that's how I built my business. And the way that I look at that, that one client, so she's been with me, I'm going to do a little math here because I can't do it in my head. So $300 times 12 months, so $3,600 a year. And she's been with me for 12 years. That's $43,200 from a $300 a month client because she's loyal, I'm loyal, and we work together well, and we have a long-term relationship. So, and I got her as a client because of someone I met at conference listed in number 3 there called FOVA. One of the most famous conferences out there in the VA industry, if you were around back then. So it's something to look at. I know I do well with what I do now, but one thing that I think a lot of VAs, Tawnya, and you probably run into this too, think is that you have to have these huge packages and clients that only, charge like $1,000 a month for that type of thing. Literally, you guys, I built my business on $300 a month clients. And a lot of it came from, like, really and truly where I started was at VA Networking with Tawnya. That's where it all came from.
I love this story. And I was flipping screens around there and everything, but yeah, I love this story that from that one decision of joining VAnetworking.com,
Yeah.
$626,764.64, whatever that is.
I know. I don't know.
Of my income can be traced back to the skills and people you met at VAnetworking.com. That just thrills me amazingly. So exciting. But professional development, I mean, it's so important in your business success, right, Kath?
Yeah, and I do find, so I'll tell you one thing that I would get from people, you guys, that would say, they would be like, you're going to that conference? Why are you going to a conference? Why are you going and taking that training? What are you doing? Well, there it is. That's what I'm doing. I'm learning how to better myself, better my skills, sell more skills and services to my clients, and bring in more money. And long-term clients. So I now only have, I have 8 clients that I work with now. So I do limit it now. I still have a team, but not as many as I had several years ago. But one thing that I will say is, so when I look at my list of clients, so I'm just going to pull up my my old-fashioned Basecamp project, because that's what I still use. So when I look at my list of clients, that client's been with me for 3 years, 6 years, 6 years, 3 years, 7 years, 12 years, 4 years. So I don't have anybody under, what did I say, 3 years? Mm-hmm. And those ones that are at 3 are going on 4. So once 2021 hits, we'll be in 4. And so it's just something to think about. But really, like, I know that there's a lot of people that say, oh, well, you can only work for people like this or like that. Well, you can do whatever you want, number one, because you own your business now, and that's the way it works. But yeah, see, Peggy's saying she's had a client for 20 years, right?
Wow.
Like, I do think it's important. One thing I will say is I do think it's really important when you have a long-term client that you value the relationship and that you nurture that relationship, and that you don't become, complacent with it, because that is the wrong way to manage and work with a client, for sure. Client care, like birthday cards and referral thank yous and things like that, is really important as well. And so I think it's important to know, though, that you can start out and sometimes, like, I know back in the day, there was no way I could have tried to sell $1,000 a month package to anybody, because I didn't have the confidence that in what I'd be doing there. So I think you have to be really in the mindset of what you're offering too, and know what you're offering to be confident that you can do that.
I like what you said in your blog post. When you plan out your activities for next year, plan for professional development. It works.
Yep.
I want everybody to plan for next week to attend my conference. I'm going to put Kathy's link in there and a free comp ticket to get into the silver ticket for free. But you don't want to miss it. It's all about finding clients. That's what the whole conference is about. And you never know who you're going to meet in there. There's so much networking in between the speakers that it's simply amazing. You know, you may end up joining VA Insiders or taking my virtual assistant career program like Kathy did. Who knows where it will evolve from there?
Yeah.
And you may not either. You may just hang out in our Facebook group, which is fine. But meeting the people, the game changers that make changes in your business.
Yeah.
It's just, well, Kathy just showed it can make you over $700,000 in 10 years, was it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she has the proof. I saw the spreadsheet. But you're such a tracker. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. I like to have those. I have stats trackers. I have consult trackers. I have a new thing that I made this year. And it's awesome. I love it. I call it my consult pipeline tracker sheet. And so what I do, and it was probably something I should have done years ago, and I did it in different ways, but I read the one-page project manager book years ago, and I love that. Like, I like the at a glance, one-page view to know where I'm at. That's how I do most everything. So I have this new consult Piper track line, and I actually keep track of all the consults that I have and the calls and the referrals and where they came from and my follow-up and the sales on it. And I have the tallies going down there. And I think this year so far, from those free like 15-minute calls where I talk to people, and I think it's about 15,000 in income that I've gotten from those calls, either somebody that signed up to do work with me or signed up for one of my programs. So keeping track of stuff is really important. I'm actually writing about that in my art blog. The article this week, Tawnya, is tracking.
It's wonderful to see that what you did yesterday had made a difference.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it is great to be able to track that. I wish I had to start tracking mine that way, the way you did, but I didn't think of it. That's why you were my bookkeeper at one point, because I'm not a numbers girl.
Not at all.
Well, I want to thank you, Kathy. Kathy's jumped on the Facebook Live today. We were talking on the phone. I said, she said, let's do a Facebook Live. And it's like, okay. So my VA's, at the grocery store, but we pulled it off. And actually, she's in the room now anyways. But thanks so much. Hey, Kathy, if you could share a nugget of advice for anyone with a service-based business like a virtual assistant or something, what do you think that would be?
I guess the thing that I would say is you will not get ahead unless you plan to do some development. Mm-hmm. And so you need to plan for it in your budget for every year. You need to plan for the kind of development that you want to do. And then you want to plan for what you're actually going to do and following through with it, which is the thing that most people are not doing these days. Mm-hmm. I find people are just signing up for stuff. And then they don't take part. So you also need to, I think, do sometimes an audit on what you have for training. Okay, so I actually have a spreadsheet as well where I track any training programs or training materials that I buy or anything. I save the login there, the link and all that, and how much I paid for it. So I do track all that, but you have to plan for it, because honestly, if you don't plan for it, and maybe Peggy can speak to this if she's still here in the room, if you can't, if you don't take different training and do some professional development, your business will stagnate, in my opinion, because you won't learn how to do new or different things. And I think it's important that you take that time and invest in yourself so that you can do more with your clients. And I mean, even just Peggy's got a spreadsheet too. But if you don't try to learn anything new, you won't get anywhere. Way back in the day, I had a local friend of mine. She was looking for some work, and I needed help because things were getting busy. It was just when I was starting to look at, okay, do I need a subcontractors with me? So she came on, and she wasn't a VA. She was doing it as a job kind of thing. And I would teach her what to do. And then I got to a point where I needed more. I needed her to know how to do more. I needed her to train, to learn more, to go further with what I needed done. And she didn't want to do it because she was looking for a job.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted a job straight out. And so I ended up I let her go, and we agreed it was the thing to do because she wasn't willing to invest to do more, to get more work. She just kind of wanted a part-time job. And that's what it was for a little while. But then, and she didn't connect with my clients at all. So she was kind of behind the scenes, and I did all the connection with the clients. She was just helping me with the excess work. But I think that's a break point where you have to decide, like, if you're not looking to learn more and do more and build your skill set, you're probably going to stagnate with your clients. And at some point, they're probably going to be like, I could do more with that person, or, this person over here. And so that's something to think about with it as well. If, I think the best VAs and the best freelancers and the best service-based business owners that are solopreneurs are the ones who are willing to learn and go out and develop their skills, their mindset, their abilities, and then bring that back into what they do.
Good advice. Great nugget.
Yeah. All right.
Are there any questions for Kathy here before I let her go and get on to her day? Thanks so much, Kathy, for sharing with us today.
No problem. It was fun. I said I was remembering the fun times we've done, like virtual parties. You remember we would get on Friday nights in a virtual group and we would all drink and hang out.
Dots.
I know. Yeah, exactly. The VA Jots. That's what they were way back then.
Yeah.
And then I remember the time you had the high heels day. I still have those pictures. We all wore high heels to work and took pictures of ourselves.
It was like a contest. We wore and we put our feet up in the air and had to take a picture. Remember that?
Yeah.
High heels day. We should do stuff. I should do stuff like that again.
Yeah, especially these days. Like people want to, I don't know about you guys, but I get that Groundhog Day feeling all the time right now. So, like, I'm trying to experiment with dog parks where we go and walk the dogs because I'm so bored. It's like, I just need something new.
Yeah. And you know what we do now in our VA Insiders is we have get it done days where we come in and work for 3 hours, like in a co-working space, which is kind of fun. And although it turns into a bit of a social too, it's like going to Starbucks and you're all there with your business buddies.
That's awesome.
I don't know if we're getting a lot of work done, but we're trying.
Well, and those things are good because they're scheduled and they're planned. And I mean, the thing is, I said plan for your development, but you also have to plan to work on your business. And those are perfect times to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well, I'm going to say adios, Kathy. And I'm so glad that you were here with us. And
I thought you were saying audios. I'm like, audios. Audios. What kind of audios? Do I have to do an audio for you? You're saying adios?
I don't know where that word comes from. It's kind of like I make up these Tawnya isms, which are words to me, but not words to anybody else. Marv, my husband, he's always catching me on these things. He goes, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
And I don't know if anybody watched Saturday Night Live the other day, last week. Oh, it was funny, but it was like all these Tawnya-isms the guy was using, and it was awesome. It was just, it's so like me. So, but I'm happy you were here.
That was fun.
Good walk this afternoon or whatever it was you were heading out to.
Yes, we're going. My husband and I are going shopping tonight. We're going on a date. We've got gift cards and we're waiting to use them.
Nice.
They're from Christmas last year because we haven't been out much this year because my elbow accident happened in February and then COVID happened. And so we haven't used our Christmas gift cards from last year.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
It's Bay Days.
Find something cool to buy.
Yeah, me too.
I was so good I didn't buy one thing on Prime Day.
Ooh.
I know.
I did not either. I saw that. Yeah.
he's not an Amazon person, and
Neither is mine.
so I actually just forgot, but I forgot it was Prime Day, but I kind of pretended, he's probably watching this video right now, that I didn't buy out of respect for him, but I actually just forgot all about it. Anyways, thanks so much for talking.
Okay. See you guys. See you, Lisa and Candace, Peggy, everybody that was here.
Yeah,
I know there were some other names.
Thanks, everybody. And get your free ticket on Kathy below.
Not on me, but from me.
From you. Yeah. I just got to quit while I'm ahead, don't I?
No problem. And I should tell you too, Tawnya, I think we have a code for VA networking people if they do buy any of my training programs. So if you don't know what it is, email me, you guys, and I'll always share that with you. So it's always 10% off for VA networking or other any VAs. So
yeah, Convertkit. Go get that one. I almost switched to Convertkit this week.
Yeah. I have it. I use it for me. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much, Kathy.
Okay.
And
it was good seeing you.
Next week at the conference. You've got a free ticket in the chat area. Come and join
lady.
and find new clients.
And congrats to Lisa. Lisa's asking how to get a free ticket. Tawnya put the link in there.
Chat area, Lisa.
And Lisa said she got a first VA client. So yay for Lisa.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Good, Lisa.
That's awesome.
Lisa, I'll put it in the chat area here. I just did it a few minutes ago. Here it is again. I'm putting it right in there.
The chat takes a little delay coming in.
Yeah, I think there's a delay coming from me.
Yeah.
But anyways, thanks, Kathy.
Okay.
And you guys all have a great day. We'll see you again soon.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.